Hello, English learners and practitioners. Welcome to another episode of the podcast, Your English Always Better. I am Jennifer. Here, you learn and practice English with stories and dialogues designed to improve your English comprehension and speaking skills. In today's video, we have an exciting story about Jack's determination, who suffered at the hands of colleagues who wanted to hinder his professional growth. The ending is surprising. Pay close attention to the story, the sentences, and the verbs to firmly grasp the content in your mind. At the end, we will explain some words and ask questions to help you solidify the content and accelerate your learning. Let's get started. Jack was a humble young man living in a small town. He didn't have much money, and his family struggled to make ends meet. Despite the hardships, Jack was always positive and hardworking. Even with limited resources, his parents always made sure that Jack studied. He dreamed of a better future and knew that education and hard work were the keys to achieving his dreams. One day, Jack had the opportunity to work as an intern at a large company in the city. He was very excited but also nervous. He didn't have nice clothes to wear to the office and was worried about what people would think of him. But Jack didn't let that stop him. He wore his best clothes, even though they were old, and went to work with a smile on his face. On the first day, he already felt that nothing would be easy. His boss welcomed him well, but Jack was bothered by comments and laughter from some people when they looked at him. At the company, Jack worked very hard. He was always the first to arrive and the last to leave. He did his tasks with great care and always tried to learn new things. However, some of his colleagues began to mock Jack more openly because of his humble appearance. They laughed at his clothes and called him a country bumpkin. Jack felt hurt, but didn't let their words affect his work. Jack's dedication did not go unnoticed. His bosses saw how hardworking and committed he was. They decided to give him more responsibilities and learning opportunities. Jack was very grateful and continued to work even harder. He knew this was his chance to prove himself. One day, Jack received incredible news. He won a scholarship to attend college. This was a dream come true for him. Now he could get a higher education and improve his skills. Jack balanced his studies and work, often staying up late to complete his tasks. His hard work paid off, and he graduated with honors. As Jack continued to grow in the company, he began to gain more recognition. His bosses appreciated his dedication and promoted him to higher positions. However, not everyone was happy with Jack's success. Some of his colleagues were jealous of his achievements. They couldn't understand how someone who started as a humble intern was now receiving so much attention and praise. These jealous colleagues decided to act out of malice. They started spreading false rumors about Jack. They said he used drugs and stole company materials. These lies began to circulate, and soon, many people in the company started to believe them. Jack was devastated. He couldn't understand why people were saying such terrible things about him. Despite the rumors, Jack continued to work hard and maintain his integrity. He knew that the truth would eventually come out. His bosses, who had always trusted him, decided to investigate the accusations. They reviewed Jack's work and spoke with people who knew him well. It didn't take long for them to realize that the rumors were false. Jack's bosses called a meeting and cleared his name. They praised him for his hard work and dedication and assured everyone that Jack was an honest and valuable employee. The people who spread the rumors were reprimanded, and Jack's reputation was restored. But the apparent calm regarding the accusations against Jack did not last long. Jack's jealous colleagues were determined to bring him down. They couldn't stand to see his success and decided to hatch a plan to incriminate him. One of the colleagues, Mark, knew that one of the company's executives used to leave his cell phone on the desk when he went out for lunch. Mark then discreetly took the cell phone and placed it in one of Jack's desk drawers, carefully turning off the device so it wouldn't ring. Mark then wrote an anonymous note saying that Jack had stolen the cell phone and that it was hidden in his desk drawer. The next day, seeing the executive talking about not finding his cell phone, Mark took advantage of a moment when the executive left the room and left the note incriminating Jack on the desk. Upon returning to the room, the executive picked up the note and went directly to Jack's boss. The two went to Jack's office and confronted him. Jack, scared, said he had nothing to do with this situation and invited the executive to search his drawers. That's when the executive found the cell phone, which had been hidden there by the devious Mark. The executive, without hesitation, accused Jack of theft. Jack tried to defend himself, saying he didn't know how the cell phone had ended up there. The boss, who had always trusted Jack, felt betrayed by the situation and, with no other option, had to fire him. The news of the supposed theft spread quickly through the company and the town. Jack, now unemployed and with a tarnished reputation, faced immense difficulties. He tried to get a job at other companies, but always received the same response. Sorry, but we can't hire you. The story that he was a thief had spread, and no one wanted to give a chance to someone with such a reputation. Jack began to face serious financial problems. Without a job, he couldn't pay his bills and was about to lose his house. He felt desperate and hopeless. Each job interview was a new disappointment, and he began to doubt himself. Despite everything, Jack didn't give up. He knew he was innocent and was determined to prove it. He started investigating on his own, trying to find out who had framed him. As he was always well-liked by everyone, Jack had made many friends at the company and turned to these friends to try to resolve the situation. He spoke with former colleagues and tried to find any clues that could help clear his name. One of the people Jack spoke to was Sarah, who worked in the same department as him and for whom Jack had a great affection. Likewise, Sarah also had a special affection for Jack. Determined to resolve everything, Jack invited Sarah for coffee. She promptly said she was willing to help him. Sarah told Jack that on the day the executive's cell phone disappeared, she saw Mark acting suspiciously near Jack's desk. This sparked a glimmer of hope in Jack. Jack and Sarah decided to work together to uncover the truth. They began to follow Mark discreetly, hoping to catch a clue. After a few weeks of surveillance, they finally had a breakthrough. They saw Mark talking to another colleague, laughing and mentioning how easy it was to frame Jack. With this new information, Jack and Sarah knew they needed more evidence. They decided to record a confession from Mark. Sarah, who knew of Mark's interest in her, managed to arrange a meeting with him. During the conversation, she skillfully brought up the cell phone incident. To make Mark even more comfortable with possibly confirming that he had framed Jack, Sarah even said she thought it was good that Jack had been fired because she didn't like him. That was the cue for Mark to start bragging about how he had set everything up. Sarah recorded the entire conversation, and with the evidence in hand, she and Jack went straight to the company's boss. The boss, upon hearing the recording, was shocked and deeply regretful for doubting Jack. He immediately called Mark and confronted him with the evidence. Mark, with no way out, confessed everything and was fired on the spot. The boss apologized to Jack and offered him his job back, along with a promotion as compensation. Jack, although relieved to have his innocence proven, knew that his reputation still needed to be restored in the town. The boss, recognizing the gravity of the situation, decided to organize a meeting with all the employees and make a public announcement to clear Jack's name. He also published an official statement in the local newspaper, explaining what had really happened and praising Jack's integrity and dedication. With his name finally cleared, Jack began to rebuild his life. He returned to work, where he was warmly welcomed by those who had always believed in him. His determination and courage throughout the ordeal inspired many, and he became an example of resilience and integrity. After the revelation of the truth and the restoration of his reputation, Jack returned to work with renewed vigor. He was promoted and began working on important projects, gaining even more respect and admiration from his colleagues. Sarah, who had been instrumental in uncovering the truth, and Jack started spending more time together, and a romance began to blossom between them. But the tranquility didn't last long. Mark, who had been fired and publicly humiliated, couldn't accept his defeat. He was full of anger and resentment, blaming Jack for his downfall. In his twisted mind, he believed that Jack needed to pay for what had happened. Mark began to plan an even more cruel revenge. Mark knew that Jack walked home because he lived near the company, and that, at a certain point, he needed to cross a street. One night, Mark, who was drunk, decided to put his plan into action. He waited for Jack at a dark corner inside his car. When he saw Jack approaching, he accelerated the car towards him, trying to run him over. Jack, realizing the danger at the last moment, managed to partially dodge but was still lightly hit by the car. Witnesses nearby saw the incident and quickly called the police and an ambulance. Jack, although injured, did not suffer serious injuries. Mark, on the other hand, was arrested on the spot. He was visibly drunk and couldn't deny his malicious intentions. In the hospital, while Jack was recovering, he reflected on everything that had happened. He knew that Mark's hatred and revenge would lead nowhere good. He decided that he needed to do something to break this cycle of negativity. As soon as he was discharged, Jack made a courageous decision. He would visit Mark in prison. When Jack arrived at the prison, Mark was sitting in his cell, dejected and full of anger. Seeing Jack, he initially refused to talk, but Jack insisted, saying he had come to forgive Mark. Surprised, Mark asked Jack why he would forgive him after everything Mark had done to him. Jack simply replied that hatred and revenge would lead them both nowhere. Jack also asked Mark to reflect on the whole situation and, when he got out of prison, to restart his life in a better way. Mark, ashamed, said he didn't even know what to say, but was very grateful for the forgiveness. Jack said that everyone deserves a second chance and that he was sure Mark would take this chance and not repeat these mistakes. Jack's act of forgiving Mark and trying to help him change his life quickly spread throughout the town. People were impressed by his generosity and ability to forgive. Jack became an example of integrity and compassion for everyone. Shortly after, Jack received a job offer from a large international company. They had heard about his story and were impressed by his resilience and character. The offer was for a high-level position in another country, with a salary 3 times higher than what he was currently earning. Jack accepted the offer with enthusiasm, but first wanted to make sure that Sarah would go with him. She promptly accepted the invitation because she knew it was a great opportunity for Jack, and that she herself would also have more opportunities for professional growth in a larger company. Happy, the two embarked on a new country and a new life, this time officially together. Jack excelled in his new job, and Sarah found incredible opportunities for her career as well. Their relationship flourished, and they became an even stronger and more united couple. The takeaway from this story is that integrity, forgiveness, and love always win and should guide the lives of people who want to seek something better for themselves while always respecting others. Wow, what a life lesson this story is. Did you like it? Comment below on which part of the story caught your attention the most. This way, you can practice your English while writing. Now, to better retain the content from the story, let's analyze 3 important words that appear in the text along with their definitions and synonyms. First word, intern. Meaning: an intern is a person who works at a company or organization, usually for a limited period, to gain practical experience in a specific field. Interns are often students or recent graduates seeking to acquire practical skills and knowledge. Sentences with the word intern. 1. Jack started as an intern at the company to gain experience. 2. The intern worked hard to impress his supervisors. 3. Many companies offer intern positions to help students learn about the industry. Synonyms. 1. Trainee. 2. Apprentice. 3. Student worker. Second word, mock. Meaning: to mock means to make fun of or ridicule someone in a scornful or sarcastic manner. It is a form of behavior aimed at making someone look foolish or inferior. Sentences with the word mock. 1. Some colleagues began to mock Jack because of his humble appearance. 2. It is not nice to mock others for their mistakes. 3. The students would often mock the teacher behind his back. Synonyms. 1. Ridicule. 2. Tease. 3. Taunt. Third word, rumors. Meaning: rumors are unverified information or stories that spread from person to person. They can be true or false and often cause misunderstandings or problems. Sentences with the word rumors. 1. False rumors about Jack started to circulate in the company. 2. She heard rumors that the company was going to lay off employees. 3. It's important not to spread rumors without knowing the facts. Synonyms. 1. Gossip. 2. Hearsay. 3. Speculation. Now let's ask 3 questions to see if you paid close attention to the story. Formulate the answer in your mind in the way you think is correct. The important thing is to do the exercise to help improve your level of English comprehension. Question 1. What bothered Jack as soon as he started working as an intern? Question 2. What did Jack's bosses do as soon as there were rumors that he had stolen the cell phone? Question 3. What did Mark do to try to get revenge on Jack? Well, dear English learner, look at what I'm going to do for you now. I will leave here the excerpts related to the 3 questions with the respective answers. So, I hope you answered the questions. If you haven't answered yet, pause the video, answer, and then watch the video again to check the answers and see if you answered more or less the same. I hope you did well. Let's go. The first question was about what bothered Jack as soon as he started working as an intern. See the part of the story with the answer. On the first day, he already felt that nothing would be easy. His boss welcomed him well, but Jack was bothered by comments and laughter from some people when they looked at him. The second question was about what Jack's bosses did as soon as there were rumors that he had stolen the cell phone. See the part of the story with the answer. His bosses, who always trusted him, decided to investigate the accusations. They reviewed Jack's work and spoke to people who knew him well. It didn't take long for them to realize that the rumors were false. The third question was about what Mark did to try to get revenge on Jack. See the part of the story with the answer. One night, Mark, who was drunk, decided to put his plan into action. He waited for Jack at a dark corner inside his car. When he saw Jack approaching, he accelerated the car towards him, trying to run him over. Jack, realizing the danger at the last moment, managed to partially dodge, but was still lightly hit by the car. So, did you compare your answers with the ones given in the story? It is important to do this exercise to increase your ability to understand questions and formulate answers. This is crucial to accelerating your English learning. Before we finish, I will leave a bonus tip. Go back to the video and listen to the story again. But this time, listen paying more attention to the sentences without worrying too much about the story itself, as you already know the ending. As the story unfolds, you can pause the video and reshape the story, creating other scenarios and situations in your mind, always thinking in English. This greatly accelerates your ability to understand and speak English. Try it and comment below on what you think. That's it, dear English learners. If this content was useful to you, take the opportunity to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here. See you in the next videos.